Just eating some of the kids' Halloween candy. All right, so this is a bit difficult right here. So from this box, I got to somehow take it from this crevice up through the top plate and the joist, try and get it into this cavity here. From there, I can get it fed to replace this orange line, which I've already disconnected on the other side. Oh, there we go. And that's out. So if I could drill that hole, I'm scot-free. But I could tell you right now, that's a tough angle. I don't have much to work with there. So I'm going to see how this goes. I could also do it in 2 stages, but that makes it really hard to pull. So we'll see. So I've got the long auger bit on, and I'm going to keep it tight over here. About there. That's about as tight as I can make it. Actually went not too bad. About 2.5 inches up from the bottom of the beam. That's a good angle. Alright, so that's up and through, and that's great because I'm going to tell you, the alternative was running it from the box on the other side of this wall, and that would have been a lot of extra wire for nothing. So now I just got to finish feeding it through this way, and it looks like I got to drill 1 hole and I'll be scot-free. Alright, just gonna check the other side, see what's going on. Oh, that's perfect. Got way too much. That's right. Just give it a kink. Pull the excess down. Good. Oh, that's probably the hardest job. So, I think we're off to the races here. All I have to do is have them run into the boxes. Don't have to do anything else. I might liven those up though. It'd be nice to get something in the garage for power. So we're back up in the attic. I got one line to run in here. And then I gotta tie down all these lines and do all that fun stuff. But what I've also got to do is take care of this junction box here. So all these lines, I got to replace a couple lines. This is the outlet right down here. This is for the garage door opener. So those lines will just get replaced. I'm going to put a new box in, probably right here. And I'm going to tie in the lines that are necessary to activate all the plugs in the garage. And that should, the line I'm running from the outlets in the basement, I'm going to tie into this box. And this is a junction box that's going to remain exposed. So that'll be just fine. And once that's done, we'll be able to fire everything up and be done up here. Now we're going to go ahead and get everything hooked up from the furthest point coming this way down to the basement, up to the breaker. Well, I'm probably going to hold off on the breaker until the inspection. Well, no, he might want to see those plugs hooked up, so maybe I'll get that done. We'll see. Well, that's it for up here. Thank goodness. So, I guess I already closed it up, but there's a line that terminates there. It's just got wire nuts on it. It does turn on with the exterior lights. So I left it in that junction box because if I ever want to tie it into maybe a floodlight out the side or even out the other side, it's very easy from here. I don't have to reach into any walls or anything. So I left it there out of future convenience because I'm probably going to use it eventually. So I don't have to come back up here at all. And once I get the final hookups on what I have in the garage, that's actually all I have to do with the garage for the electrical to be done. And there's really nothing else for moving in this area of the house. So that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm back in now. I got everything I need to finish this up. There's only a couple items. Then I got other things to move on to. You'll notice I'm wearing my jacket. It's getting kind of cold in here. Not too worried about freezing yet, but that is coming. So I'm going to finish up the little bit I left here in the laundry room with the electrical, and I'm not going to worry about the rest until after inspection, because the rough-in inspection is ready to go after this, except for the bath vent. I'll get that. But anyway, the next thing I really have to take care of is getting this furnace fired up. So the plan right now is I have to first and foremost deal with the venting. So we removed the chimney, but what that leaves me with is the predicament of where this vent is going to go. So this is a mid-efficiency furnace. I can't run it out the wall like you do with modern high-efficiency furnaces. So whenever this gets upgraded, that'll probably get done. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this existing vent and I have to convert it before it enters any wall space. So in this area where the furnace is, it's going to be fine just as it is. But as it comes up, I'm not going to have it in the original place because that's kind of redundant. I'm going to bring it probably somewhere around here and bring it straight up into the attic space and out the roof. Now, in order to do that, because this is probably going to be covered, it's going to be covered when it goes up through the wall. In order to do that, I have to make sure that this is converted to a B vent before it reaches there. So I've already grabbed all the B vent materials and everything I need to do the duct work. So I'm going to be working on that next. So that furnace was originally run off propane. It's still set up for propane, and as long as it is, I'm just gonna get some propane tanks out here and run it off that because it's far more effective and cheaper than running electric heaters. So that's kind of the plan. Once I get the natural gas back to this house, I'll put the little conversion kit in. It's just a different orifice that converts it from propane to natural gas, and the furnace will run fine off that. But before I do that conversion, it's going to work for construction heat. And I already know the questions are going to come up in the comment section. Are you getting your ducts cleaned out? Because we will be leaving a lot of the duct work in place because there's nothing wrong with it. The answer to that is yes, but not yet. In the meantime, I'm going to put a decent filter in. But I don't want to clean the ducts yet because I still haven't done drywall. Once drywall's done, I don't feel bad getting it taken care of. But if I am doing any substantial amount of drywall work in here, it's really nice to wait until after that's done before getting the duct cleaning done. So let's get this little bit of electrical in, and then we'll have a look at how we're running our B vent. Alright, so now I got the bit I need to get this done properly, putting these conduits in. Now, it's ironic, I went and picked up more bits, and I don't mind because I go through them, I go through quite a few of them, I use them for work. But ironically, right after I picked them up, it wasn't an hour later, I think I was digging around in one of my toolboxes for something, and I came across the pack that I thought I had here. I had 3 bits left, so now I got a lot of them. So with no more excuses, let's get this done. Long wait to get that done. Look at that. All these wires. Man. Man, oh man. Takes a lot of wires to do a house. And, you know, I just gotta say, I know they're just wires, but I think they look pretty. When they're all done nice and neat. Although, because I've only got limited access, I got a lot of wires consolidated where you would usually probably have them a little bit more spread out. I got a lot more lines in and out of switches than you might see in a new build, but it definitely it's definitely functional. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. The only thing left with the electrical, and not a highlight by any stretch of the imagination, is just dealing with this here. I just got to cut that out. Even as it is, I could probably call in my inspection like this. I don't think that wire has to be necessarily addressed just yet. So I am ready for my rough-in inspection. I'm not going to call it in just yet. There are a couple things I want to get done first, and it'll give me some time to maybe check things over, make sure it's all good before calling them out. It's always nice when you can better guarantee that green sticker before he leaves than, you know, have to call him back a second time. So I'll take advantage of the buffer period I have. So let's hop on to the next task. So I just hopped outside here to get something from the truck, and I noticed this. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh man, that looks terrible. Try and focus this a little bit. So that is a harvest moon poking through the trees there, and it looks just gorgeous. I don't think trying to see what I can do, playing with the settings here on my phone to see if I can get it to look a little better. It is just not working. Oh well, at any rate, it is really gorgeous. I love that about this time of year. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the harvest moon happens from farmers as they're harvesting their fields. It kicks up a bunch of dust into the air, and that's what gives the illusion of the moon looking orange or gold. So this, of course, is where the chimney was, and I'm moving it. I don't want to put any more dead space here because that defeats the purpose of what I accomplished here. So I've been back and forth trying to figure out where on earth am I going to throw this B-vent, and what I decided is this is where it's going. So this closet wall is about here. I'm going to thicken this wall up so it's about 8 inches. It should terminate about here. I may have to move this cold air return. That's not the end of the world. But I'm going to make it to about here, create a dead space in the wall. And all I need for this is a 4-inch pipe. And to get 1 inch around, you know, that's 6 inches from any combustible materials. So at the top and bottom of this, after I open it up, I have to install a plate like this. So this is a fire stop. This outer ring indicates the 1 inch clearance required. This inner ring is where my pipe is going to slip through. And once I have this installed at both the top and the bottom, and I got clearance all the way down, I'll be scot-free. And yeah, nobody will ever know that wall is actually about 8 inches thick. And who would notice? People don't really go into the closet and wonder. So this is a B-vent. And yeah, it's a very fancy pipe is what it is. What it is it's actually got 2 walls. So you see here, this inner wall, that's where the fumes come out, and the outer wall here. And the purpose of having the 2 walls is that it creates an air chamber in between, and it just keeps a lot of the heat transfer down, because these pipes can get very hot and you don't want them running through walls as they are. So this innovative product eliminated the need to have chimneys running up for mid-efficiency furnaces. So that's pretty cool. And the other cool thing about them, and I got them up the right way. So you'll see both walls here, and on this one they're clamped together, and it's got all these divots and ridges, and what it does is you actually pop it in here and twist, and that's all you have to do to seal it. It's a self-sealing product. They basically just click together. They're very easy to install. It's obviously quite a bit more money than standard piping, but when you factor in that you don't have to put in a chimney, it's much cheaper. So that's what I'm going to get done. My goal is to have that run into the attic space for right now. I'm going to wait until I have some daylight to actually run it through the roof. But if I have it ready to go, I can get it done in a jiffy and fire the furnace right up. I still have to hook it up to the breaker and check a couple things. I do have a replacement filter for it because the last one was nasty. So I'm going to get that done. And then I'm not going to get it toasty warm in here. Running off propane like that, obviously it's not super cheap, but it's definitely going to stay above freezing. It'd be nice to keep it so I don't see my breath, you know, that's comfortable to me. Not sure if you can hear the bubbling in the background. That's the coffee maker. That's a beautiful sound. You might be wondering why I cut it here. It's because there's a metal corner here. And I'm going to peel the metal corner off before I take everything else out to keep it clean, because I don't want to destroy this drywall. This is fine. And I want to take out this hump here so we can actually smooth it across. So that's why that went the way it did. Here's what we're putting in. Now, actually, it's kind of nice like that, doesn't it? So, this here is 7 inches, and I don't have a bit that's 7 inches, so I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm also going to be installing it from underneath, and then up top is probably going to be the bigger challenge, just because I got a lot more depth to get through. So this is probably going to be a bit of work with the Sawzall. So what I'm going to have to do, this here, by the time I get this tight to where it can go, that's my 7 inches. So it's basically 7 inches off that stud. That's how far I got to go. Yeah, this cold air return is going to be a little in the way. And I can't eliminate that. That would solve that problem. can do this, but I need to have this pretty much up against the drywall, which is fine. I can just have a plate here, and bring it up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 7 inches from there. And that'll leave just a little bit here, and there's a stud running up the wall right there anyway, so that's pretty convenient. So yeah, I got to trim back the flooring to exactly what I plan on making this. And then I'm going to be trimming out the floor to what I need, and then whatever I do down here, I got to match up top. And then I can run this pipe through. This is probably the toughest part of the job. So let's get this traced out. That's right. Better go switch this blade. It was cutting vinyl last. Oh, that's why the blade was acting so funny. When we're cutting vinyl, we turn the blade backwards, and it just keeps it from chipping the vinyl all crazy. Works great. Not a pretty cut, but she worked. Alright, so now I can make a solid plate to fit in here. And I'll make one to match at the very top. And I'm going to cut them both out the same. And then I'm going to cut this without the plate in just to make it a lot easier. There won't be a whole lot left of that, but that's it. Not sure if you can see the circle scribed in. That's basically it. Once that's done, I'm going to make 2 of these, and then I'm going to trace out the bottom of the subfloor, cut that out with the Sawzall, and I'll be able to fit this together a lot easier that way. Alright, so it's an old blade I got in here. We'll see how it does. Yeah, did not too bad. So these X's should match up when they're installed. Just check. Yeah, it's even got some wiggle room. Look at that. That's pretty. Alright, so the blade I have in here is very aggressive, so we'll see how it does. I may have to tone it down a bit. We'll see. gotta double check something. Just eating some of the kids' Halloween candy. So, ran into a snag there. I should have checked before cutting everything up. Didn't do anything wrong yet, except the final placement of the pipe. What I didn't realize is how much I was creeping on to the joist underneath. It's right here. So to make this work, I'm going to have to kick everything over a couple inches. So that's fine. I'm going to leave this just the way it is. It's going to be a lot more comfortable when I actually go to install the pipe. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to shrink up the closet by a couple inches. So I can do that. That's not a problem. And then I can run it up through the ceiling. So not gonna lie, that was a little bit discouraging. I'm going to look into a couple other things because I should also have a look and see how the rafters in the attic line up. I hadn't actually checked that either. I kind of went at it a little gung-ho, and that's often what happens when you do that. So it's not a mistake yet, but I need to do a little bit of planning. So I'm going to put that on hold until I get the top and the bottom figured out. And I started pretty late today, so I'm probably going to call it here. I'm going to be back probably in the morning though. It's supposed to rain all day, so I should be able to get a good amount of time in then and start with a fresh mind too. I'm a little bit tired, so I'll get to it then.